today. So we're going to go over some 21st century updates first. We're going to go over some program attendance reminders and then some 21st century specific things from our team, and then I'll pass it off to Intact. So as a reminder, there are attendance update forms that are due in CCIP upcoming. So the second installment and the third installment form are going to be due April 18th. So the criteria for the approval of those forms you should be well aware of, but those stipulations are listed in the presentation. So 50% of your students are at or above 45 hours for participation for approval for your second installment, and then 75% of your students at or above 90 hours of participation for approval for your third installment. If you are not meeting those assigned ADA requirements, you will be scheduled a technical assistant meeting with your program administrator. So they will be reaching out to you. And then the final reminder about installments is that the summer installment will be distributed in April, that fourth allotment that's held for your summer programming. And those required forms will be in CCIP. And then reminders about those will be due in or are in the listserv. As people keep signing in, now that we have a little bit more people trickling in, be reminded to put your name in the chat as well as your program name and unit number. And then, thank you. So a couple more updates before we pass it off to our guest speakers. We want to remember to keep your 21 DC attendance up to date and current. And if you have any questions with that, any strategies that you're working with your PA, contact them. Remember to update your basic information sheet with when staffing changes, if there's any location changes, if you have any upcoming summer facility changes, make sure you keep your basic information sheet up to date. We want to make sure to wait until all your contracts are reviewed and approved by the fiscal team before you are reimbursing in ERICA. So if you have any updated or any kind of partnerships that you're looking for enrichment, you want to make sure that one, those are approved in your budget and that you're seeking approval in CCIP by your fiscal monitor before you are reimbursing in ERICA. A recommendation, stay in contact with your PA and your fiscal monitor regarding any matters. So if you have any questions or anything that you're feeling a little bit uneasy about, reach out to us. We do not bite. Okay, so those are the things that were in our presentation, and for sure, now we are ready to pass it off with, I've only been talking for 6 minutes, so don't be shy in the chat. Let us know what you need. And from here, I'll stop sharing and I'll give it off to our presenters, Yana List and Michelle Owens, to talk about summer planning.
Good morning. Thank you, Ashton. We are so excited to be here with you today. Yana's going to pull up the presentation for us. But as we're waiting, we just really are excited to walk through some of the tools that the 21st CCLC and TAC has put together for summer planning. So as we go through, depending on where you are in the process, it could be this is the first time you're thinking about summer programming, or you are a veteran in summer programming, and we might just be able to help bring some new ideas and this really easy to use tool for you. So Yana, I can't, is it up yet? Oh no, sorry, I couldn't see for a minute. There we go, yay. All right, I think it's Monday, even the computer.
Took a second, yeah.
That's all right. Can you launch it from there to where it's like full?
Yep.
Oh, awesome. Now we can see it. Thank you. And so I'll introduce myself, Michelle Owens. I am a technical assistance liaison for the state of North Carolina and other states throughout the country, working with 21st century programs, training technical assistants, helping develop some tools and resources. And also, I am lucky enough to be able to work with our summer learning pilot that we're doing right now with 2 sites in North Carolina, and Yana's working with 2 sites in Michigan. I'll let her introduce herself. I am in the Outer Banks of North Carolina, so I do live here, and I'm very excited to be working in the state. My background is in special education and school counseling. And I came to work with the NTAC group about 2 years ago. Prior to that, I did work with Johns Hopkins University and with the Alliance for Healthier Generation, all around school mental health. So I'm really excited because I always say summer was my time when I was able to work with students one-on-one or even in small groups that I didn't have the opportunity to when it was the school year. We were doing lots of IEP testing and things that took away from me being able to work with students directly. And so I love summer because of that. And I'll pass it over to Yana.
Thanks, Michelle. And it's great to be with you all here. I am also one of the technical assistance liaisons, excuse me. But my chief state that I work with is Michigan, but also a bunch of other states, and love helping to support North Carolina here with Michelle today. And I am also someone who has worked in summer for many, many years, and I love it because it's just an opportunity to spend a lot more time with your kids than you get to on the regular day. You're getting them after a whole day of school. They might be exhausted. And summer, you just have so much more space to really think, play, and have a good time.
All right, thanks. So just quickly, we just wanted to do a quick overview of what the 21st CCLC NTAC is and what our vision and mission is. And our main thing is to provide opportunities for all after school and summer programs so that the programs can gain new knowledge and skills to provide programming. And so our main objective is to engage and empower students and our families. And then with our mission, very similar, just wanting to make sure that not only are we providing the knowledge and skills, but also best practices and evidence-based resources through the professional development that we do. And we want to make sure that all of our stakeholders are able to really provide services to the students that we serve, whether they be underserved youth, including youth voice, including family needs, and just really looking at that. And in the process, building capacity, making sure that we're bringing new people into our field that share the same vision, mission, and passion that we do. All right, so we just wanted to do a quick little poll and see where you are in your summer programming process. So in the chat box, you can put the number that resonates with where you are in your summer programming. So put a 1 if you haven't started yet, a 2 if you're not sure where to begin, but you want to do it, a 3 if I just started planning, or a 4 if I am ready to go. Ooh, we got some. I love the 3.5. Got lots of 3s, 4s, yay. All right, Anna, 1. We are here for you. Charles, 2.5. Awesome. So as the numbers are coming through, we've got some folks on the higher level of their planning. They just started planning or they are ready to go. And then a few that are in the very beginning stages. And so as we work through our time today together and we break out into groups and work through some different planning with the tool, you'll see that even if you are a 4 or even a 3.5, that there might be something that comes up today in discussion in your breakouts or even by use of the tool that can really help either, I wouldn't say improve what you've done in the past or what you're planning to do, but can bring, maybe some benefits or some different ideas to what you already have planned. And so those are our goals today. All right, so importance of summer learning with so many 3s and 4s on there. A lot of you already know the importance of it. But like Yana said in her introduction, providing high quality summer learning enrichment opportunities. And so making it fun, but also very high quality, making it different than maybe what we can do during the school year with the short amount of time that we have students sometimes in after school and competing priorities, trying to get homework done and trying to get a lot of the things done in the after school time. And summer learning is our best way to really help kids bounce back, catch up, and move forward. Summer learning the last 3 years has been a blessing. I have now a 4th and 5th grader, but back then, post-COVID, summer learning has been so helpful in really helping them, I would say, bounce back and finally catch up. All right. So a study that was done by the RAND Corporation, we just put some of this information there so that we can show exactly what these specific quality parameters were that they studied to see the significance of how summer learning programs reduce the summer slide, so that kids are staying on grade level or moving forward a little bit and not falling backwards. The study said that they researched this with a 5 to 6 week program. Their class sizes were 1 to 15. They did have certified teachers or those on staff that had professional development on academics. They had high quality enrichment activities. So enrichment activities that would help support what they were doing, whether that be the fine arts or music or dance or STEM or, robotics. And then meals and transportation were provided. They also found that with this, if you look over on the other side, what the impact was. And so the typical annual gains in math after one summer, 15% went up. 20 to 25% typical annual gains in mathematics and language arts after 2 summers. So that first summer, they saw a lot of gains. And then after that second summer, they saw significantly a lot more. All right, and our last one before we get to jump into our fun meat of summer learning program is Youth Voice. And we talk a lot about Youth Voice and the importance of it. And this survey that was done with after school and summer programs with youth themselves. So it asked young people questions about their programs and what they felt about them. Is it a safe and welcoming environment? Are there good resources for them to use? Did they feel like their summer learning program and after school programs were helping them prepare for their future? And so I won't go through all the statistics, but I think that it's really important to know that when Yana talks about building your team, how important it is to ensure that there is youth voice. There are students that are giving you, feedback, whether it be through a survey or just through interview process. All right, so jumping into our pathway to summer excellence. There's 7 key steps in our pathway to summer programming success. And so the 7 steps start out with your program team, and we'll go through all of these steps today. Step 2 would be completing a needs assessment. So are you meeting the needs of the families and communities that you serve? Then we go into the logic model, where you will figure out, you'll visualize your program, you'll set your goals and objectives. Jan and I just did this presentation at a conference, and I said it was really eye-opening to me because everyone wants to go to step 4 first. Everybody wants to do logistics first, and logistics are very, very important. But the logic model kind of sets the stage before we jump in the logistics, and you'll see more of that today. But I know everybody's like, I need to find busing, or I want to figure out what I'm feeding these students or what's happening before the logic model. And then number 4, we do logic model. Logistics is very important. You have to plan, budget's important, space, and all of those things. The 5th step, intentional activity design. So we're not just setting up activities that are fun or going on field trips, but how are they really connecting? How are they connecting back to our logic model and our theory of action and what our actual goals are? And then the 6th step, intentional recruitment. So we're looking for students. We're trying to figure out what our students are interested in, what would best bring them into our programs, keeping attendance up and keeping them coming back. And then the 7th step, continuous improvement. So measuring the success and then also planning for the future. So all of our folks that put 4 there and you're ready to go for summer, you might see, here as we go through today, because you've measured your success in the past, but this might be a good time to kind of reflect on that. So I'm going to share real quick. Sorry, Jan, I'm going to steal it from you really quickly before we jump in. So this is our summer learning program planner. I will drop it in the chat box where you can get to it. And then also, let me see. All right. Sorry, bear with me. Can you see everything?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. And so after we bounce back in, there'll be a QR code that you can take and you can scan that. But I just wanted to show you, because sometimes from your phone it's hard. When you get to the 21st CCLC NTAC website, you would go to our resources. And from our resources, it would be learning resources. I just wanted to show you where it is so that it's easy for you to find following our time together. So you'd click on Summer Learning Implementation Planner, and it's going to ask you, yep, I want to open it. And then when you get in there, you'll have a blank sample, a blank copy of it, a sample, and a PDF. So I'll go into this one just so that you can see real quick. Oh, yes, you can open it. And so as you see, these 13 steps, these contents go along with those 7 steps that I just went through. And so these are the different steps of the Summer Learning Program Planner. It's very user-friendly. It's very easy to use. Down here on the bottom, you'll see where you just click through. You'll literally just click through step 1. This would be, that very beginning tool that you would use. Step 2, when Jana goes into team planning, you'll see this. Step 3, assessment mapping, and on. And it'll just, I just wanted to make sure that you were able to see each of the steps and just kind of how easy they are as you're working through it. So it'll bring you through every single step of the planner. It even gives you field trip places for your field trips. And so let me see so I can get back. All right, so I just wanted to be able to show you that before Jana jumps in and goes back into our presentation and we walk through all of the steps. Oh, Jana, you're still muted.
Great. Thanks, Michelle. Sorry about that. And let's go back to our presentation. So I did share the link for our website in the chat box. You can also use the QR code to go directly to the program planner to download it. It's an awesome tool, and we're going to be going through some components of it today, and there's so much more to explore after this session. And so we are talking about summer learning, and it sounds like a lot of you have already done some thinking. So you already have your program planning team in mind. But these are really the people who are going to be working with you step by step, who are going to be helping you plan all of the activities, bringing new perspective. So we would love to hear from you in the chat box if there's someone on your program planning team that has brought a perspective that you just didn't have or had ideas that were new to you. So for example, we'd love to hear from you in the chat box. So for example, I have shared in the past that I am a STEM person really through and through, and having a member of my program planning team that is an arts teacher really enriched the kinds of activities that we offered, because she could think about different kinds of engaging activities that were just a little bit outside of my wheelhouse. So we'd love to share from you if there's anyone on your program planning team who has really helped to change your perspective. Please share that in the chat box. And Michelle, I can't see the chat box, so if you could let me know about any answers that are coming through.
Sure.
But it's really for thinking about the fact that, many hands make like the work, and also making sure that you are offering a well-rounded, exciting, engaging experience for your young people. And so that is really something to look forward to, and really think about people who bring something new and special to your program planning. Michelle, have we heard from any of our attendees about some program team members?
Not yet.
Alrighty. You can also think about making sure to have a school day partner on your program planning team. We talk a lot in 21st Century about making sure that we're aligning with the school day, that we are meeting the academic needs of our students as we are giving them that positive, enriching summer learning experience. So you can also think about having someone from your school day partner, whether it's an administrator or content leader or even a teacher, who can really help make sure that you are supporting the academic needs of your students, even as they're having just the most amazing time ever during their summer. So many of you probably already have a program planning team in place, or you're thinking about putting your program planning team in place. And we also want to think about, okay, so we have our program planning team, now what? And the tool we're going to use today to really go through the rest of the planning phases of your summer program is a logic model. Now, a logic model is your big picture view of what you are going to implement and why and how you're going to do it. It's really about making sure that you are starting with the end in mind. You know what you're trying to achieve, just like what Michelle said. It's really easy to get excited about specific field trips or specific activities, but we want to make sure that all the work we're doing over the summer is going to help achieve our academic goals for our students. And to do that, really, we always have to start with a summer program needs assessment. Now, you may have experience with doing a needs assessment for your school year for when you are applying for your grant, and it is very much a similar process of finding out what your school and community need, what your specific students need, and also what your students and families want. And you should be interested in collecting data on your student and community needs to really help make sure that you are offering the right support programs to your students. You are offering the right programs. You are hiring the right staff that are all going to help you meet the needs of your students. And to find out what your students' needs are, you're going to have to do some data collection. And data collection can come at 3 levels. You can collect community and school level data. This is really your big picture data, looking at census data, any social services data for your local community, student performance data on state assessments. So this is really giving you the big picture overview of what you know or what you can find out about your local community. Then you can look at your family and student level data. This is some more specific information about the specific students that you serve. This could include surveys to their teachers to find out what are the specific skills our students need to grow. This could involve looking at report cards. There's a lot of ways to really drill down, not just that big picture community data. This is what we know about employment and socioeconomic status and all of these pieces, but drilling down into the particular students who are going to be enrolled in our program. And then finally, want to collect student and family voice. We want to talk to our students. We want to distribute surveys. We want to have focus groups. We want to know, what do our students and families want and expect from our summer program. And so in our breakout rooms, we're going to be going into breakout rooms in a couple of moments. You are going to be reviewing some of this student and family data and choosing some of this data to focus on in your summer program. In addition to identifying the needs, so these are the areas that our students struggle with, we also want to identify the assets. What are the areas of our strength in our community, in our program? And we want to leverage those areas of strength and leverage those resources for our high quality programs. So first you look at, these are our needs, and then you want to find some partners that help to meet the needs of your program, of the students that you've identified. And we're going to be doing a logic model activity, not to worry. We will go over these. We're going to do all the logic model pieces together. So I will come back and review the instructions not to worry. But so we are really going to be starting with understanding our needs. What do our kids actually need? And what are some of the assets we can leverage to meet those student needs? Once we've done that, we have to pause and make sure that we have a clear theory of action. Your theory of action is really a statement about what we do and why we do it. So, what we want for our kids to achieve. So, if we have a really high quality summer program, then our kids will develop their math skills, and long term, they'll be ready to succeed in middle school or high school or their careers or whatever. So, it's thinking about what we can do now, what we're going to do, what we want our kids to achieve, and what long-term impact we're hoping that that will have on our kids and our communities. We're going to be doing a theory of action workshop. Again, we'll go through the activity instructions before we break you up into your groups. Don't worry. So once we've done a once we've created our theory of action, we've really identified this is our big picture. This is why our program exists. Then we're ready to identify our desired outcome, our desired goal. And when we write a goal for our program, it always has to be SMART. Now, let us know in the chat box if you're familiar with SMART goals, if this is something you've seen before. But in case it's not, SMART means your goal should be specific. That means it's targeted to the right population. You're really being specific about who you're going to serve. It should be measurable. You have a way that you're going to measure the achievement of your goal. It should be attainable. You're never going to please 100% of people, but can you really achieve your goal? Is it relevant? Does it address a specific need that you have identified? And is it time bound? Are you setting a time period for when you're going to achieve your goal? I have an example of a SMART goal that you could have for your summer program. And so we are going to have, I'm giving you spoiler alert, the summer is the time bound. So by the end of the summer, 90%, again, that's attainable. You're never going to get everybody on board, but we can try. Of fifth grade students, I know what population I'm hoping to address, will be able to identify the main idea of a fictional text that is relevant to the student needs. We're going to look at student needs, don't worry. But it is a relevant skill that our fifth graders need to develop as measured by the activity project rubric. So it's measurable. So it's really going to be a version that gives us the opportunity to have a goal in mind. And by the end of the summer, if we use a rubric to assess, did our students identify the main idea of the fictional text? That tells us, were we successful or were we not successful? Sometimes you're going to meet your goal and sometimes you won't, and that's just part of life. But when you have that data, we gathered some data, we weren't successful in meeting our goal. So we have to do a little change up, a little modification to make sure that the way we implement these activities next summer does meet that goal. And that's okay. When we use rubrics, when we use methods for measuring student learning, that gives us an opportunity for us ourselves to learn and improve. And in our logic model, you're going to be creating that SMART outcome in the outcomes column of your logic model. And then we'll come back together to do the rest of this activity together, which I'm really excited about. So I have shared with you the 4 components of the logic model you're going to be filling out today in your small groups. In a few minutes, first I'm going to show you how you're going to fill out your logic model. You're going to go into breakout rooms, and as a group, you're going to fill in your logic model. And then we're going to come back together to fill in the rest in a whole group environment. Michelle and I will be available. We'll be popping into different rooms to check in with you, to support you through this process. And to do this activity, you're all going to be participating with a tool called Concept Board, which is a tool that I am really excited to share with you all. In this tool, it's a website, and let me reshare the link. I believe I shared it earlier, but let me just reshare the link. In this app, you do not need to create an account. You are just going to click on the link that I shared in the chat box, and it asks you to give your name. And in this logic model, I have an example logic model right up at the top. So in your group, you're going to do activities 1, 2, and 3. Based on what breakout room number you're in, that will be your logic model. If you're in logic group breakout room 1, 2, 3, or 4, you're just going to be filling in that board based on what your group number is. So to review, breakout activity 1 is to review the provided data statements and select 2 or 3 student and community needs you plan to address in your program and fill them in the needs column for your breakout room. And when I say on the right, I mean you scroll over to the right side and you are provided with some data for your summer learning program. So you're going to review this data with your group. As you can see, we have some census data, we have student assessments, we have student behavior reports, and we've even done some in-person meetings with our school day partners. So you are going to review all of this data with your program group, and you're going to pick a couple of these pieces of data that you are going to address in your program, and you're going to write down what you're going to be addressing under that needs column. So for example, students are struggling to identify the main point of a fictional task. That's one, or text, excuse me. That's one of the needs we know. And we know that students need to learn the identifying underlying skills way before 5th grade. So this is data I got from this series of data that we provided you with, and we summarized it as the needs our students we're going to address. Then the second part of this activity is review the provided community asset map. It's also on the right side, and fill in your potential partners under the inputs column. So underneath the data, I have an inputs community asset map. This is a map of your community of potential partners that you can reach out to address the needs that you have identified as your priority. So we reviewed this map, and we have identified some of the partners we need. We're going to reach out to the local library, the city council, and the tutoring center in our area as potential partners. I've also identified some of our staff because our staff are assets too. So we have a site coordinator who's a certified teacher and has a background in educational enrichment. So that's activity 1. For activity 1, again, the instructions are over on the left, and they're all pinned, so you shouldn't be able to accidentally change anything. You're going to review the data statements and also review the potential partners under the inputs. And you're going to fill that information in under the first 2 columns, needs, inputs. Then for the second activity, you're going to create a theory of action for your scenario in your logic model. So you're going to write down your theory of action for whatever breakout room you're in. It's going to go in this box. Once you have written your own theory of action, scroll to another group's theory of action. Visit their logic model and provide that other group with some feedback on their logic model. So can you share with them a compliment, a question, and a recommendation you have for them to improve their theory of action? So that's activity 2. You don't need anything from the right side. You are writing your own theory of action. Again, we are going to be using the data that we've collected, the needs we've collected for our theory of action. So our theory of action is we want our kids to develop stronger literacy skills, just as an example. And then for activity 3, you're going to create at least one SMART outcome for your program, and you're going to fill it in this last column under outcomes, which is, in other words, the way you're going to evaluate your success. So an example that I have here is by the end of the summer program, 90% of participating students will be able to identify the main idea of a fictional text as measured by the activity project rubric. It's time-bound. Spoiler alert, most of your outcomes will be time-bound to the end of the summer. It's specific to the group I'm going to be serving. It's specific to my participating students. It's attainable. It's 90% of them. You're never going to get everybody. It's relevant to a skill they need. In an interview or in a conversation with the English language arts group, I found out, students are struggling to identify the main idea of a text. So I'm going to create a goal that is relevant to what they need to do in the school day. And this is going to be my high quality SMART goal. So you are going to fill in these sections: the theory of action, the needs, the inputs, in other words, the resources and outputs, and the outcomes in your breakout rooms. Your instructions are all on the left-hand side if you need to refer back to them. And like I mentioned, Michelle and I will be popping in to support you. Your data is on the right side, as is the community asset map. If you have any questions, please do share those in the chat box, because if you have a question, someone else might have a question as well. Hopefully, you're all making your way into that chat box.
I'm working on it right now.
And Ashton is sending us to our breakout rooms, and hopefully you enjoy working on this activity. And if you haven't, please do click on that link to the concept board that you're going to be working on with your breakout room group.
Okay, here goes nothing. See you guys in the main session later. Okay. Okay. Do you have to like accept the breakout room?
I think you do.
Okay.
It gave me the option of accepting now or joining later. So I clicked join later just to see if everybody was able to get where they needed to be.
Okay.
Let's see.
Yeah,
Looks like
mine
we
says
still have
join.
Okay. Okay, I'll go to 1. I guess it didn't really assign us anything, so I'm going to 1.
How do I go to breakout sessions?
Hi, I'm having some internet issues and I'm coming in and out, so I missed when you broke us out.
Uh-oh. Okay.
I think that's Ashton do it. I'm not 100% sure how to.
Do you see in the upper right, it says breakout sessions have started, choose a session to join by any chance?
No, I see meeting information and layout.
Okay. Now underneath that, underneath participants is where my box is. It says breakout sessions have started, choose a session to join.
Yeah, I don't see that at all.
Okay, let's
Click
see
the bottom. If you'll look down at the bottom beside the chat feature to the left of that, you should see a participant button. If you
Yes.
click on that, it gives you the option then to join.
Yes, it says the breakout sessions have started. The host or co-host will assign you a session to join.
So it won't let you just join yourself?
No.
Okay, hold on
Let
one
me
second.
see if I can.
Okay.
Yana, I'm going to go to 4.
I'm gonna go
Wait.
to 1 because that looks like it's the smallest group.
Well,
Okay,
it says, Michelle, that you are actually, it says you can't edit breakout session assignments because Michelle Owens is editing them to me.
Oh,
What it's saying to me.
I'm not saying that. I'm not
I'm gonna
editing.
get Ashton to come back in. Give me 1 second.
Maybe if I join 4 and I get out, it will stop. I'm going to join 4.
Okay. Okay. I can assign you, Dawn. Okay. It looks
Okay.
like, hold on. Let me see if I can try to do that. Okay.
Thank you. No worries. I was trying to find a place in the house where my internet wasn't shaky this morning because I'm under the weather.
Okay. I'm going to put you in session 1.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Mandy, it looks like we still have some other folks in here too. Can you move them to a room?
Yes, I will. It says everybody's been assigned except for me. I will.
We'll see folks up there though. Isaiah, Wendell, Trista. Are you guys still with us?
Yes, I'm still here. I had hit join later. I was trying to finish up some paperwork. Can you
Okay.
direct me where I need to go to join my breakout room? I think I was in room
You should
4.
be able to click where the participant button is at the very bottom right hand corner beside the chat icon. Do you see a little person's like a
Yep, I see it.
okay,
Yes, ma'am.
click there and then you should be able to join.
All right, thank you.
Isaiah or Wendell, are you able to see where you guys need to join your breakout room? Okay, everybody else, Gina, William, Katrina, Aurelie, do y'all see a group that you can pop in and check on? Are you assigned to a group?
I'm not, but I can go to one.
Yeah, I
can go
think
on.
they can. I think they
Click
can
on the
choose
bottom,
which
those bottom
one.
3, those 3 little dots at the bottom. I click on that, and it says join breakout session.
Yeah, you can join one then. Just pick one. It's fine. You can just sit in and listen. Okay, Wendy, I think you and I will just stay right here
Okay.
just in
Yes.
case. You know what I mean?
Yeah. that
And
sounds good.
Katrina, are you able to join a group? She must not be right there either. But Isaiah and Wendell, they're not responding, so I'm not sure what's going on with them.
I can see where everybody is. I'm just scrolling to see. Okay, Isaiah's assigned to session 4, but he's not there.
Okay. And Wendell,
Let's see. I'm looking. He's not in session either.
okay.
So,
Yeah, they're here in the
yeah.
room for. So what will happen when there's a time, I guess, that's set for those breakout rooms?
I'm assuming so, but I can end them whenever. So if somebody, I mean, if they don't end on their own, I can
All right.
end
Go ahead and
them.
mute Wendy. I'm gonna call you on your phone.
Okay, gotcha.
Mhm. Hey, Monica. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, people are in breakout rooms. If you want to just hang here, I'm not sure what time they're coming back. I'm texting Ashton to find out. So
Okay, will do.
if
Thank
you
you.
want to go to a room, we'll move you. But if you want to just sit here, it's fine.
How much longer are they in a room?
They haven't been gone very long, so Wendy can move you to a room if you want to go listen in.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I'll listen.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
All right, Wendy, if you'll go ahead and move her, that'll be good.
Okay.
Hey, Juana.
Good morning, my friend.
Juana. Uh-oh, she went. I still don't see Wendell move. Did he get moved?
I moved him, but he's not present, so I think he may have to join.
No. Juana, can you hear us?
Yes, ma'am, I can hear you.
Okay. Hey, they're in breakout rooms right now. So Wendy will just move you to one so you can check in and see how the subgrantees are doing. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Wendy, just pick one that's got the fewest people.
All righty. No problem. Let's see. Let me see. Oops.
Oh, he finally went.
Yeah, I did. I tried to do them again.
Okay.
I'm gonna send Juana to session 4 because
Okay.
everybody else has 8.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay. So how many people do we have on the call total today? It's not that many, is it?
Sorry, I was sitting here talking. There's 36 in the rooms, and then us two, so 38. That's the
Right.
top I've seen.
Okay. So what does it mean on the right-hand side where it says not in the meeting? There are 12 people listed there. What does that mean?
They registered, but they haven't shown up.
Gotcha. Okay. Jonathan Helms, I'm surprised.
Yeah.
Is Toya here? She
She
registered.
just jumped in, and I put her in a room.
Okay. Okay, cool. All right. Okay. Well, I guess we'll sit tight and see. I haven't heard back from Ashton. Have you got a text from her?
I'll text her and just ask.
Okay. You might even want to just call her because maybe it'll buzz or something.
Yeah, I'll call.
Because she hasn't read my messages.
Okay,
All right.
I
I'm
will.
gonna put this on mute. I'm gonna run to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
All right.
When did you ever hear from Ashton?
She's gonna let me know. She said she was thinking about, sorry, my dog's barking,
That's
about
okay.
11:15. I've also contacted the other groups with our people in them, told them to let me know when they get close to finish.
Okay.
So
Okay. Lord. Yeah, I don't even remember when we had them in there making sure everything was ready to go. I don't think they ever even said how long. They didn't tell the people when the directions when they were telling them what to do. I don't think they said how long in the instructions, did they?
I don't remember them saying it.
I don't recall them saying it. That's why I was beginning to wonder how are they supposed to know when to come back. So okay. Well, we'll just sit tight and see what
Okay.
happens. How's Abigail?
She's hanging in there. She's at school this morning. She went
Okay.
yesterday. So
Good. Well,
yeah,
that's progress.
it is. It
But
is.
that's great. So y'all took her yesterday.
She
Got
drove herself.
drove. Okay. She
Yeah,
parks
she
her car at
at Loretta's.
Lane's. Okay, that's what I
Yeah,
thought.
10 minutes
But,
away. So
well, that's good. So what does she do? Just drive her over there and drop her off?
yeah, Ida, her daughter usually takes
Well,
her.
that's good. Yeah, it's nice to have somebody right there, you know.
Ain't that the truth?
So that worked out really good. I know. So okay, that sounds good. I'm glad she got back in school. I know y'all were worried about that, and at least this gets her back into some kind of normal routine.
Amen.
Mm.
Amen.
Lord help us all, right?
I'm telling you.
I just hope it stays that way, where y'all aren't having to worry so much, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, if we can get back into
Yep. Back into
our
routine and keep it moving. So
yeah.
my dog is acting crazy outside. Yours is barking in the house, and mine's showing his butt outside. If he hears, we've got a woodpecker out there, and honestly, I'd love to shoot it myself. I'm about tired of it too. That thing, they make the worst aggravating noise and gets my dogs all riled up. All you hear is that, "Bah, bah, 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 bah," and it just drives them crazy. So eventually he's going to catch that thing. He's
Yeah.
jumping up at the trees, trying to get to it, I think.
Yeah.
Bless his heart. All right. Well, I guess we'll sit tight. I'm going to go back on mute.
All right. I'll see you.
Multitask a little bit.
All right.
All right, I think we're ready to end everything. I think you said I can chat box that sends out to everyone.
Yeah, I'm thinking where people are trickling in now, so it's
They are.
looks like all of them are going to end in about 60 seconds regardless, but
Great.
Yes,
It
I
looks like
said
a lot of
in.
a lot of
Thank
work
you.
was happening, which is exciting. Y'all have a great group that really always engages, which is really wonderful to have.
It was really good. And Yana, I give big kudos to your concept, this board.
Yes.
I played around with a lot of different tools, and I'm like really happy with how this one ended up working.
I am too.
Took a little bit of time, but I love all the
Oh, sorry. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I was just gonna say I've never used it and I love it. It took me a minute to get used to it, but I was like, I'll be using this.
Yeah, it was one where I was like, I found it and I was like, oh, this is perfect. But also I was like, everyone should see this because most of them, everybody has to create an account. Like it's a whole hullabaloo. And I was really happy with this one. Yeah. So hopefully this is one that will make its way. And you can have like over 200 people in it at a time. So it's really good when when you're on that state level and kind of thinking about how do we get everybody doing things together. So yeah, I'm really excited about it. I think it's a really cool tool.
well, everyone should be back in the main session now. So
Okay.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Thank you all so much for being here. And thank you all for so actively participating in the activity that we asked you all to do just now. So we're going to, I'm just going to head back into, wait, how do I share my screen? Share, fantastic. I do just want to briefly review the kind of work that was happening in our breakout rooms. Oh, I meant make it disappear. Okay. So what we asked you to do in your breakout rooms is to start with your needs statements. So looking at that data that we provided you with to find out this is what we're going to prioritize. Then we asked you after that to look at the asset map to identify who are some of your local assets. Assets can also include your staff, your school day partners. Then we asked you to fill out the theory of action, so what we do and why we do it. And finally, we asked you to fill out the outcomes column. I know, and this is something I had conversations with in the different rooms, that the temptation is always to start with activities because we love activities and we know how great they are. But this is a little bit of a different way of thinking about it because we want to start with the end in mind. And for any of you who are also teachers, if you have probably learned about this concept as well, we always want to start with what we want to achieve, and that will dictate the activities. So first, the process is saying, okay, our desired outcome is students will be able to identify the main idea of a fictional text. What activities can I do that will teach them those skills? So as an example, an activity I had is an example activity, a movie production club where 5th grade students select a book, create a story, create skits, storyboard scenes, and produce short films based on those stories. And so again, this is first I identified and first I really thought about, oopsie. Sorry, I keep on clicking in the wrong direction. First, I identified what my students' needs were, and I identified some of my local resources. I gave that theory of action statement if we provide high quality literacy activities in a lot of different ways, then kids will develop their literacy skills. They will be able to identify or be able to read at a grade level, read and write at a grade level, appropriate level. And in the long term, we want to make sure that they're prepared for the next grade, that they're lifelong readers, any of those kinds of things. So with that in mind, thank you all for sharing. We'd love to hear from you in the chat box. If you have any reflections on doing that activity, was this really similar to how you do things, or was this really different from what you've done before in terms of activity planning? We'd love to hear from you. Michelle, I know you were in some of the breakout rooms. I'd love to hear if there's anything you noticed, any really great conversations that popped out to you.
I did. I feel like there was a lot of great conversation around utilizing school staff, like during the school year, whether it be the school counselor, school social worker, when we were talking about some of the behavior issues that were brought up in the data. Also attendance. Someone had, I'm sorry, and I don't remember names, had brought up working with the Department of Juvenile Justice and really gaining some good ideas or different strategies that they use towards attendance, like for attendance purposes, also for classroom management and behavior. Yeah, there was just some really good different assets, I think, that were brought up based on the needs that were chosen. And then some good discussion around participation and dosage. Like, what would that look like based on going to logistics, the time that the program was going to run, and also if there would be staff at that time every day to help support that need, or if it would be 2 days a week. And so there was a lot of good discussion around that also.
Thanks for sharing that, Michelle. I did want to just highlight and thank you all for doing such great work filling this in. I will share this board with Dr. Hamilton and his staff so that they can share this out with you. I did want to just highlight, I really like this app. It's called Concept Board. There's both free and paid versions, and the paid version comes with a 30-day free trial. And as you can see, people can participate without creating an account. And there can be like 200 people participating at a time. So it's something that's really great. Might be a nice tool for some of your programs, from some of your staff meetings, those kinds of things to think about. And I did want to just highlight one really great theory of action I saw. And this was in breakout room 2, and their theory action was, if we provide targeted math interventions through certified tutors and school partnerships and implement attendance support initiatives, then students will receive the academic reinforcement that they need to improve their math proficiency while also increasing their school attendance. As a result, more students will meet state assessment standards, develop stronger foundational skills, and establish consistent attendance habits that contribute to long-term academic success. So this one was a little bit specific. Yours doesn't have to be quite as specific, but I thought that this one was really showing what we're going to be doing. So we're going to be using partnerships. We're going to be having specific initiatives. We're going to be giving academic reinforcement and what we want our kids to be able to achieve, and really help them be successful long-term. So I thought that was a great one to highlight, but thank you, everyone. I know the discussions were really fruitful, so that's really exciting to see. So we do want to share, again, all of this is part of the Logic Model tool, or excuse me, I should say the Summer Learning Planner that has been developed by NTAC. The QR code is on your screen again. And this is a really great tool for really thinking through all the logistics that you have to plan for your summer. And that is starting from that big picture of doing your needs, making sure that we understand our resources, and everything that we've talked about really connects back to that summer learning planner. So there is a tab to do a needs assessment to make sure that you are going to be meeting the right needs in your summer program. There is a tab for doing some asset mapping identifying what are the resources in your community that you can leverage, who are your staff members that can support the success of your program. There is an intentional activity design planner that can help you bring all these pieces together and all the elements of a high quality activity, a high quality and a high quality program, and making sure that we're always connecting back to that overall goal. If our overall goal is that kids are able to read at grade level, then how are we going to support it with specific activities? And this activity design planner is a really great tool for that. So those tools and many, many more are available in our summer learning planner and are available for you to kind of leverage and work through and think about as potential sources, as potential sources of information that maybe you didn't think about. There's also logistics tabs, thinking about planning field trips and getting all of your partners and contracts and finances in order. So there are all these tabs available to you. And you're going to be able to hopefully leverage those and make use of these for your program design. And I will turn it over to Michelle for this moment.
Hey, Yana, I just wanted to bring to your attention the QR code that was listed on the logic model has expired.
Oh. Michelle, that might be a you question.
That probably is a you question. You mean on this QR code, Juana, for the Summer Learning Program Planner?
Yes, ma'am. I just scanned the QR code. I screen captured the window first, and then I navigated to the QR code. But it reads on mine. It reads this QR code has been deactivated for some reason.
Okay, I will go in and update that. But for now, I will here. Let me get in there. I will just put a direct link.
That's great.
This is a direct link to the implementation planner in the NTAC website. So if you click on this, it'll drag you right into that, and I will update that. I didn't pay my bill. No, I don't know. I don't know why it worked yesterday. And so thanks, Yana.
Yeah. And so now we're not going to go back into our breakout rooms because a lot of those ideas were already shared. But what I would love to do is to have kind of we're going to call this a speed start. Some of you already shared some ideas in your logic models in the concept board, and I can pull that back up in a moment. But I would love to hear from you. What is one great activity that you have done with your students that your program has done before that helps achieve the SMART goal? So, for example, you came up with that SMART goal in response to that data. So if you chose to focus on math, I heard one group, I can't remember which group it was now, talking about math in the grocery store, and that being something that they've done before that's been really successful. So I would love, there are 30-ish of us in this room. Or 40 maybe. I would love for everyone to share at least one great activity that can help meet the needs that we've talked about, that you reviewed in your activity, whether you decided to focus on behavior or attendance or literacy or math. Do you have a great activity to share about that? You can tell us in the chat box, or even better, you can unmute yourself and share one great activity. I'm going to be taking notes so that we can share those. And so each of you will have a speed start of a great activity that you can do with your program, with your kids. Let's see.
And I think, thanks, Yana. I think this also brings it back to that intentional activity design, like you said, like really connecting it to your SMART goal so that it's something, you brought up the grocery store. And
I'm sorry, I went too far.
I loved in one of the logic models someone had put really focusing on social emotional supports by visiting an animal shelter and then connecting that activity to a field trip, and then also bringing it back around to teach those social emotional learning strategies.
I love that idea.
I know I did.
That's a great activity. Someone's got to be the first, so I'll wait.
Oh, here's one. Wait, look who it is. Attendance, let's see, visual racetrack to move daily positive attitude that measure who and how fast students can reach the finish line, particularly for grades K through 2. I like that. So a big racetrack and the students get to go around it based on their attendance. I hope that's what you're talking about, Dr. Hamilton. That's how I envision.
That sounds like a good one. Dr. Hamilton did say in one of the breakout rooms, he specializes in the littles. So
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That sounds like a great one.
Can y'all still hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
I mean, I think also even something with that focuses on K2, but bringing in older students that might be able to design that racetrack and make that another connection back to math in some way. I'm always trying to teach 2 or 3 things with one at once. Let's see what else were on our logic models, because there was some really great. Oh, here we have another one. A workshop for parents on supporting SEL at home, providing games and activities, regular use of restorative circles to discuss issues and build community.
I see one here about having presenters from a local university to help students understand how math connects to real life, to college, to careers, making sure that you're bringing in partners, it sounds like, from a lot of different organizations, like the Women in STEM, the local construction companies, maybe the local farmers market.
Which I love also because it does show in career readiness and, that there's many different avenues to use the math skills that you gain. Like for instance, when I look at the construction business, how important it would be for measurement, just all the things that are needed in the construction business coming out of math instruction.
I see that we also have partnering with the home. I would love to hear about parent engagement events. So making sure we're making that connection to what's going on at home as well. I'd love to hear more in the chat box about what those kinds of activities could look like.
So Yana, I have 2 more new in the chat.
Yes.
Not just using universities, but utilizing CTE teachers from feeder schools to connect subjects. And then also one summer program did run a taco truck business. I love this. This was a project-based learning using their math skills to have a successful business, and the students had a certain budget that they could use to run the business.
That's amazing. Especially if you are able to connect it to culinary and kids actually learn to make their own tacos. I would join that activity. If you could tell me which program that is, I could take a field trip.
Trista will be inviting you for Taco Tuesday.
Let's see if we have. There's the grocery store, the taco truck. Awesome. I know you all have other activity ideas. So remember all of those needs that you had to choose from. We learned that that about 70% of adults in your community have a high school diploma. 13% have a high school college degree. We learned that only 40% of our students met the grade level on the state math assessment in 4th grade. We learned that 68% of 3rd graders were on grade level for language arts. So that means, 32 are not. We also learned that there's been some student behavior issues, that we have had a lot of kids with absenteeism, chronic absenteeism. We have almost half of our students having some early dismissals 3 times or more so far this year. And keep in mind, it's only February, so that's a lot. Sometimes kids get sick, things happen, we know that, but we are seeing a pattern of a lot of kids that are absent or having a lot of early dismissals. And we have 22% of our kids have had 3 or more discipline referrals this year so far. And again, it's only February, so we're facing some challenges. So what activities have you come up in response to those needs? And again, these can be and should be activities that you've done with your programs before that have been super successful. No one wants to unmute themselves.
Oh, I have 2 more that are in here. For our social emotional, a feelings wheel. So printing feelings out on the wheel and having parents choose a feeling. There's a lot. Hold on a second. From the wheel and share a time they felt that way. So getting students and families to talk about feelings, maybe triggers and different coping strategies. And then, a gratitude jar. So, writing things that you're grateful for on slips of paper and placing them in the jar, and then using that also as a discussion strategy to foster positive emotions. So I love all those.
And I will say a lot of our subgrantees are doing some phenomenal things, because our attendance for our students that are attending after school, 72% of students that were showing issues with attendance in a previous year are now improving their attendance. So that's some of our recent data that I've just certified to go to U.S. Department of Ed for our 23-24 school year data. And so whatever you guys are doing is definitely making a difference, because we are showing improvement for kids that have had attendance issues in the previous year. 72% of them are showing that they have improved.
That's amazing. So I would love to know what your programs are doing that's making them so successful. That's why I'm wondering why more of us aren't unmuting yourselves. It sounds like some of you are having, or maybe all of you are having, incredible success. Unmute yourselves, or let us know in the chat box, and Michelle can read your answers out loud.
Yeah, and Hannah, Hannah, I'm saying Hannah. Sorry, Yana. It's Monday. I'm calling you a child's name. Dr. Locklear also shared some good information in the chat just about how to demonstrate that baseline of knowledge is important, but also doesn't guarantee proficiency, and some different strategies to use when looking at that. And we have students can work in teams to build the tallest tower using materials like spaghetti, marshmallows, toothpicks, gumdrops. Look at that. We have our STEM activity, helps with problem solving and engineering.
Love that. And honestly, that is an activity you can do with any age level, and they will always be into it. But depending on the age level, you can think about including more or a little bit less math content. So with older students, you can have them thinking about how much weight can this structure hold? Are there variations based on the materials we select? They can try out different configurations and really figure out how much weight can this support before it collapses. So you can add more detailed kind of math and science concepts bringing in engineering, bringing in physics with your older kids. But with your younger kids, it's also really fun and engaging of how challenging. It's just a cool challenge of how tall can you build it? They have to work in groups. They have to practice communication. They have to then measure how tall it is. There's your math right there. They might have to calculate the volume of your item. Again, so that is an activity that you can do with all different age levels. And depending on the age group, you can modify the amount of kind of STEM content and what you're focusing on. I love that you all shared that because that is an activity I did myself as a child and one I have happily done with kids myself. I've done it with elementary, I've done it with high school. I have also done it with adults, and I have yet to find a group that does not love that activity. So that's something to think about. Are there any other cool summer STEM activities? I always do a fun shout out for anything that requires, especially in summer with our younger kids, thinking about developing those gross and fine motor skills. So activities that require them to move their bodies in certain ways. If anyone has played Animal Museum, that is one of my favorites where, or Night at the Museum, it has different names where kids are playing characters in a museum and they have to move, but if the night watchman catches them move, they're out. So they have to pretend to be animals, move like animals, but also, you know, not be seen moving by the night watchman. So that's a game that I love. And that's great for gross motor control for kids. We know that a lot of arts activities are really valuable for fine motor control. It's like the process that kids go from, you know, before in their pre-elementary school years as they age up and learn to draw in the lines and have more of that fine motor control. Those are things that you can also be developing and think about. Arts are wonderful, and they're also a really great tool for expressing yourself and also for developing some of those fine motor control skills that our kids need to write successfully. We know that you have to be able to manage the pencil if you're going to write anything. So those are some great ideas. Are there any others that we have missed that anyone else wants to share of some fun summer activities that will help to meet, again, some of these needs that we've talked about? We've talked about some behavioral issues. We've talked about chronic absenteeism. We know that there is literacy and math. We know that with our older students, we know that there is the issue of, can they identify the main point of a text? Can they do those fractions? And we know a lot of those underlying skills start to develop even when they're younger. So they probably aren't learning how to do fractions till 4th grade, maybe 3rd grade, but understanding whole and part numbers, all of that work starts in much younger grades. So any activities that you have to share, we would love to hear them all. I've been taking notes from this conversation, so I will share those all with Dr. Hamilton and his team so that they can share those widely with all of your sites and all of your subgrantees.
Hey, Yana, I was just going to mention to you, if you would, all of the materials and things that we have for today, if you'll send those to Hawana Locklear, she is my staff person who handles the listserv message, and it just cuts down on all the back and forth. If you can just get it directly to her, she preps that listserv for me every week, and then I can approve it. It just cuts down on so many back and forths with emails. If you can do that for me, that would be great.
Thank you for making, we want to make everything as easy as possible. So Hawana, after this, I'll make sure that all the materials get to you so you can send those out to all your attendees.
And we'll get them out to everybody on the listserv this Friday. And I would ask, Darren, if you don't mind, if you would take any information that's in the chat, we will be able to download and save the chat. So Ashton, when this is over, it does say that messages that everybody has entered will be able to be saved. And so there are some really good ideas in the chat that we don't want folks to miss. So if you could put together a little bulleted list that maybe we can also share that out in the listserv as well. So that way everybody has access to what's in the chat.
And Yana, when we wrap up at the end, I'll go back to the page of the Knowledge Network where there is the summer learning piece, just to show everyone where they can get other ideas from other programs in other states and also share their ideas.
So yeah, Michelle, I'll turn it over to you in just a moment. I know that we already heard that there's a issue with the QR code, so I know Michelle reshared the link, so apologies for that. But everything we've talked about, all of these pieces of the logic model we've went through, all of the activities that you all shared today, those are all really great resources and really great ways for you to make sure that you're keeping that big picture in mind. And that's really what we were trying to communicate and talk to you about with the logic model concept, that we want to make sure that we have a desired outcome for our kids by the end of the summer. And the activities, the field trips, the partners that we use, that we design, that we implement, those are in service of our larger goal. If our larger goal is to improve math, then how are all of these activities we do going to connect to math? You can connect any field trip, and I really mean any field trip, to math. You're going to the pool, you can talk about buoyancy. You can talk about the volume of the pool, how much water is in this pool. All of these pieces are things that you can discuss and learn about and really have meaningful conversations with your kids. So that's something that I'm really hoping for. And I think that we kind of have this kind of call to action of thinking about summer right now, not holding off until March or April or, May or June, as these things happen, because we are busy people. But starting to think about these concepts, make these plans as early as possible, will result in us having a really high quality summer that is both fun and educational and helps align with those needs that our kids have and helps set them off on a really successful school year. When they come back to school in August, September, their teachers are going to say, wow, you had an amazing summer, and I can tell because of all these skills you've mastered. And so to wrap us up, I'm going to turn it over to Michelle. And Michelle, I'll stop sharing my screen so you can share that knowledge network.
Sounds good. All right.
And we do only have about 10 minutes left. So if you have any questions, any final thoughts you want to share in the chat box, please do share those with us as well.
All right. Thanks, Yana. So in addition to the link that takes you directly to the summer learning program planning tool, within the NTAC website, we just launched the Knowledge of Network. And so Knowledge of Network, it has many different components. Think of it kind of as a community of practice. But the one that I love the most, because anyone can get in, join, well, I shouldn't say the most, I love a lot, can go in and join, is our discussion board. So if you look down here, I started a discussion board about summer learning. And so once you get into this space, all you do is click on the discussion board summer learning and it will open it up. And so this is a great space where you can share all of your ideas that you shared today in the chat or in your logic model. Down here, kind of just a discussion for everyone with links to different resources or tools that you might use for summer that have been really great. Or once this starts to populate, there'll be a space where you can click down here at follow content. And as you follow the content, every time you go back into the Knowledge Network, when other programs within different states or within North Carolina add information, it will all be down there for you to have access to. And so I just wanted to make sure that I shared that with you so that you know that you can just go in and you can join the Knowledge Network at any time. And so within it, like I said, there'll be a community feed. There'll be different topics over here on the left-hand side. You can see that you can go in and you can just find different information for you. But definitely check out, and I said, I started this right before the conference session that Yana and I did on summer learning. And so we just got back and then jumped back into work. So I'm going to go in this afternoon and populate this with the summer learning program tool and some other resources. But it'll just also be a great place for you if you want to go in and share information.
Michelle, I would like to say that this is a great asset to this site, because we actually were able to utilize this during our SEA coordinators meeting that I attended earlier this month in DC. And so we have our own little section built in within here too for SEA coordinators, which is great, you know, for me, because it gives me access to finding out what other states are doing. But this is a great opportunity for our subgrantees to share your stories here too. We're all in this together, and we all want to help each other, you know, become better at what we do. So if you do have any ideas that you want to share on here, we encourage you to do that. We want this site to be useful. I've been asked to share several resources on there at the SEA level, but knowing that now our subgrantees can do the same thing, I think that's just a very powerful piece of this entire website.
Thank you, and I'm glad it's working so well in the SEA groups also, because that's what the whole thing was built for, just so that, you know, we can share when we're in these types of trainings or we're at conferences or anywhere. We hear such great information. And sometimes it is hard, you know, I mean, we've got Dr. Hamilton and Dr. Locklear grabbing it all for us and getting it out to you through listservs. But a lot of times, you know, some of the great ideas just through discussion get lost in transition. And so if we can get as much information on each of the different topics that really support the work that all of you are doing in the field, it will just be able to share even more, and people can learn from each other and replicate what's being done. We're all, you know, those data points that Yana shared happen across the country, and much more. And so we just want to be able to support each other in all of this work. So I appreciate that. But definitely check into it and share everything that you can. That would be great. And let me see, go back. I don't have the PowerPoint. I was going to put the last slide up, Yana, but if you have it, I will stop sharing. You can take over.
Let me share the.
That was the last thing.
Um,
And we can definitely open it up for questions if anyone has any questions in our last few minutes. And Yana's going to share real quick. It's just the last one that kind of brings you to our website. If you have anything you want to email in, our newsletter, and then also our LinkedIn space, where we're trying to share also information that's coming out of the Knowledge Network. Our marketing communications team is trying to pull things out of there to share also in the LinkedIn space and in our newsletter, just to get the information out into multiple different avenues.
I do also want to highlight that I shared the link to our feedback form in the chat box. We would really appreciate if you could take 1 or 2 minutes to just let us know how we did, to give feedback. We've been so fortunate to partner with North Carolina to make sure that we are offering things that are helpful. So if there is something you really like to know, or there's something that you feel like we could improve on, we always would love to hear your feedback, to make sure that we are providing resources and tools and helping develop some of those skills that are going to be really useful for you and help improve the quality of your programs that are already doing such engaging and meaningful work.
Got a question?
Mm-hmm.
Will you all be creating more on-demand training webinars that we can, give to our staff, say 1 hour to 2 hours, where they could get a certificate of completion or something like that?
Yes, so Michelle can speak to a lot of these, but I'm going to just navigate to our website. So that for anyone who's not familiar or hasn't been able to visit our website yet, so we have a whole bunch of toolkits that have already been published. We also have some training kits. These are modules that you can download and take a look at. And Michelle, I think you can speak to some of the other things that are forthcoming on the website as well.
Sure, and I will. So I'm sorry. I'm going to steal it from you one more time because because I'm logged into the account. So under professional learning, there's also the learning management system, and so under the learning management system where that Knowledge Network was, was where there will be different courses that can be taken. And so you would just go in and enroll. Many of these are mini courses, and so they're not like a 6-hour course. They're a smaller course that can be taken. For instance, I'll go into this one, Facilitating Positive Youth Development. And so this one's 30 minutes that you would enroll in. So the mini courses are a lot smaller and are able to where I know with the after school program time, sometimes, you know, staff are just given the time before they start to supervise children or afterwards. And so I know a lot of the staff that are frontline with students were looking for smaller pieces of courses that they could dive into also. But these are constantly,
I'm on
Yeah.
your website, but I don't see what you're referring to.
So what you'll have to do is because I'm logged in, if you're not logged in, you'll have to actually log in to get in that space. And all you have to do is it's just your email address. You would just make a user to sign in as a user. And once you're in there, it'll give you access to this space.
I'm logged in. I see it now.
And then you'll be able to go into that. And so, and we have a content.
Michelle, just so you know, you're not sharing your screen.
I'm not?
No.
Look at me. I'm just scrolling around, thinking I'm in there, showing everybody my good stuff. Sorry about that. No, am I?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that. And so, yeah, so this is the space that would be in the learning management system where all of the courses would be.
Got it. Thank you.
Sorry about that. Thanks, Yana. And we are we are updating these as we're developing content that's coming out. So there'll be more that will hit. And if you register to get our newsletter, that is where a lot of times it'll say like, oh, this is our newest course, or this is our newest resource or tool that's just been added to this space in the learning management system. Thanks, Yana.
Thank you, Michelle. And thank you to your leadership for having us. And if you have any final notes or updates that y'all need to share with your attendees, we'd appreciate if everyone could fill out that feedback form for us. And thank you all so much for having us.
Okay, thank you so much. We really enjoyed having you guys with us again today.
Thank you.
Very informative. We
Yeah.
appreciate it. I think someone's off of mute. We need to, okay. So Ashton's already put up our last slide. Just want to remind everybody about some upcoming webinars. We do have another one scheduled for March the 24th, and that's on reflection and planning for the upcoming school year. And then we will have another webinar in May for end of year closeout and inventory best practices. And then don't forget our annual foundations conference is coming up for the summer. And that will be July 29th through the 31st. And our listserv, remember, has all of the links to the PD sessions. There's one link at the very bottom that has a PD calendar. And then we also every week try to highlight if there's an upcoming presentation webinar that we want you to be mindful of, then we'll put a blurb in the listserv for that. But just know that you always have access to that entire PD schedule. It's at the bottom of the listserv. Okay. And if we don't have any more questions or anything in the chat, we will go ahead and end the session, but please do